So let's just move these slightly further in so they start to intersect. I think probably what we can do is isolate everything at the moment, just so we get a better view of what's going on. There we go. And pick these again and just make sure that they intersect nicely with our flashing here. Now, you probably could, if you could really be bothered, put a bend modifier on these, but it can be a little bit tricky doing that because they're at a strange angle. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going in and I'm taking each one of these capsules, and in my left-hand view here, I'm just making sure that they're going to intersect with the main flashing. There we go. That's all hunky-dory, and I think this one needs a little bit of adjustment. There we go. We'll possibly move all the rest of these so that they all line up properly. Right, there we go. And now what I'm going to do is select that and make it a compound object, pro boolean, and start picking my way through these. There we go. And then I'm going to right click and convert that to an editable polygon. And to be honest with you, I don't know if I can be bothered to do any more with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little cut mark in here. And let's go over to the front. And I'm going to be incredibly lazy, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all the polygons in this side. And I'm just going to delete them. And I will then use, I've got up here in my tabs here, a symmetry modifier. Right click, convert that to an editable polygon. Exit isolation mode. We'll delete these extra tabs that we've got there. And here we go. We've now got that detail at the front of the gun that we were looking for. So we're really coming along quite nicely now. We've got our barrel now made completely. It's fantastic. We've got this extra flashing on there. We've got the front of the rifle. What we want to do now is we want to start putting some rifling into this barrel, just to make it look really something quite special. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to my shapes here, and I'm going to select helix, and again these are nice simple parametric shapes, so I can go helix, helix, woo, woo. And first off I'm going to start putting this in the renderer, because if I don't do this in the renderer now, it's very easy to set the diameter and the radiuses of your spirals here. But if you don't know what the thickness of the line is going to be, you're setting something up and then having to go back and reset it. So we'll work with these on to start with, and I think the thickness is fine there. So let's make these the same radius to start with. 3.5 maybe. Yep, I think 3.5 and 3.5. Let's have a look. That seems to work for me quite well. So in my perspective view now, I think if we come to look at this, our height, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this fractionally outside, and we'll make the height of the spiral of the helix longer than the actual barrel itself, because we're going to end up doing a boolean on this. And the number of turns we're going to do, there we go. Now, I'm not into ballistics, so I don't really know with any accuracy how many turns you should do, but I know how many turns is going to look good. And I think that 9 turns will look good, personally. So there we go, there's our 9 turns. and that all intersects the body in there quite nicely. So I'm going to right click on that and convert it down to an editable polygon, and then what I'm going to do is I'll put my pivot point at the center of the object, align it to world, and using my angle snap tool, I'm going to say, well, I want at least one extra. Let's see, 2 extras. I don't really think that's going to give me enough. I want to put an extra bit of rotation in there. Now let's put this up on the big screen, shall we? Now what I'm really looking forward for is some kind of crossover between these. So we get lots of spiraling coming through the barrel there, and that it's all sort of multi-threaded spiraling as well. So that's good, that's working for me. So now what I'm going to do is I will Boolean these two objects together. I think I'm going to have to take the hit on this one and convert it to an editable polygon. So we've got a lot more faces in there than perhaps we wanted, but you know, ultimately that's going to be worth it. So we'll take this and I'll union, start picking, add that on, that's good. Right click. Now this habit of mine of turning things into an editable polygon every time really comes back to having to use Boolean before. You don't have to do that with Pro Boolean, but as far as I'm concerned, it can't help. Make sure your Pro Boolean second time round is set to subtraction, and then just spend a little bit of time subtracting these out of your barrel, and what you'll end up with is this amazing spiral that goes all the way down and into and through your barrel. So if at any point you want to show a shot, all very James Bond I realise, of a bullet exploding out of the barrel here, you've got all of this fantastic rifling that you can use to show that with. And that's pretty much the end of the barrel. All a bit arduous there. What we're going to do now is we'll move on and we'll start to make this section of the body of the gun. Okay, we're not going to worry about the butt of the gun yet, because obviously we have to completely make that up. And then we'll move on, we'll make this section, we'll make the cartridge and other bits and pieces. Just as a side note, it has been mentioned to me that I haven't made this available, this background image, until recently. Well, I've done that now. It's on my website. If you go to my website, there is a link from the front page. You can go and get this piece of reference down quite easily now. And the address is at the bottom of the screen here. Okay, so that's great. Thanks.